Are you confused about writing? Do you not know where to start or even how to finish? Do you love writing so much that it burns deep in your soul, but you still don't know how to meet your goals? Are you looking for a little inspiration that will take you on a writer's vacation? Then let us all write together. Let us all write our way. Hello everyone, welcome to Write Our Way. I'm your host Patrick Starks, and today we're going to talk a little bit about creating your own genre rather than finding it. I know when I started thinking about this episode, I was thinking about, let's talk about finding your genre, but it goes so much deeper than that. I think I want to talk about creating your own genre. And the reason I want to talk about creating your own genre is because many times we as writers get led kind of astray. We get told this is the genre we need to write because it's what's hot at the time or popular at the time. But let's be honest, a lot of those genres that they tell us that we need to write aren't really us. It's not the type of genre we want to dive into necessarily. Most of the time, what we like is the complete opposite of the genres we're being chosen to fall in line with. And I know a lot of people might think this is crazy talk, like, what genre are you going to write if you don't write the genres that are already out there? I mean, you have romance, you have mystery, you have horror. What other genres could there be out there other than those and a few others? Well, the first thing I would say is put on your creative hat. The whole point of being a writer, even an artist, is to be creative, to think outside the box, to be authentic. A lot of the things done and created today wouldn't even have been relevant had someone not thought this way. But I'm serious, guys. I really want you to dive deep and understand that you as a writer, you have a fingerprint, on your stories. And no one can duplicate your fingerprint. And the only way to keep that from happening is to be as authentic as possible and think outside the box and really think about genres that haven't even been thought about. As writers, I truly believe we can be innovators. I think that gets overlooked a lot for writing, especially. A lot of people associate innovators with electronics and tech, but this doesn't exclude every other form of art, And if you don't believe me, think about sci-fi, right? Science fiction. Science fiction, guys, didn't even exist back in the day. Most writers, most short story writers, novelists, whatever, they were writing stories about life or romance or, war or those type of scenarios. But it was never robots and never zombies and all this other stuff going on today. So now we have this new genre, and this kind of plays into what I'm saying. This genre was created because somebody sat down and said, I wonder what these stories would be like if we had these things in it. I mean, come on, guys. We didn't have Star Wars back then. They didn't have lightsabers. Being out in space was not even existent. We didn't even know we could go out into space yet until the first man that, landed on the moon. And that was kind of what kicked that stuff off, once we realized that we could go out to space. That might have been what gave that person the idea to start writing stories like that. And that's where I'm kind of going off of. There's so many things that can give you ideas, so many things out there, people, nature, just scenarios that can give you a different perspective on how you would want to write your stories. And so where I'm going with this is, don't put yourself in a bubble. Don't feel like you have to be locked in on certain genres in the writing industry. Really explore and have fun with it. I think a lot of writers, they go into it locked in and feeling like they have to follow these guidelines, and what happens is it kills the fun. And so then they find writing no longer enjoyable. And take it from me, that sucks, because I used to be somebody who was really deeply into visual effects. I went to school for it. I had a bachelor's degree in it. But once I got out in the industry and I saw that it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, that it wasn't as innovative or creative as I wanted it to be, this very cookie cutter approach to everything, it kind of killed my love for it, and that sucked. But I found a new love, which was my writing. But I just don't want that happening for you guys throughout your writing journey. I want you to really enjoy the process and love writing, because I think when you love writing, it shows through your stories. It really does. You can tell how immersed somebody is into their craft. And I've said this before, but I'm always going to keep telling you guys this. It really does. Your personality and the way you feel really does reflect your stories, just like a singer or any other artist out there. But I guess the question you guys are all wondering right now is, how do I begin to create my own genre? Where do I need to start? How do I approach this? Well, the first thing we have to think about when we approach this is not to go too overboard with it. So what I mean by being careful with the genres that the industry wants us to fall in line with, I mean, don't go all in on them. So when you're writing your stories and creating your new genre, I'm not necessarily saying take out romance, take out the horror, take out the mystery all entirely. I'm just saying don't make the whole story about romance, mystery, and horror. I'd be a fool to say that even in the genre of science fiction, there isn't any romance, there isn't any horror or mystery. Of course there is, but the difference is they're not going all in on it. They're not making the whole entire story about just one of those genres. And this is what I mean about writers being led astray. A lot of them sometimes will think that they need to go all in on those genres, when really those genres are made to be kind of like an assist for your stories. They're not meant to be the story entirely. They can be, but if you really want to make your stories like really have this impact and have this unique flow, they're better used as an assisting factor for your stories rather than it be the whole story. Well, that's just my opinion. I'm sure a lot of people out there would disagree, and that's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. But I'm just saying, for me as a writer, for the nearly the decade or more that I've been writing, these are some of the things that I've learned, and they've helped me better my stories. They've helped me make more of an impact with my stories and make them more authentic, in a sense where someone's not like, oh yeah, this is like so-and-so's story, or this is like that one movie I watched. I absolutely cannot stand that. I hate hearing that, because you as a writer puts way too much time and effort into your stories for it to be compared to another story. And what I'm trying to do is help you guys see outside the box and not get caught in the trap of writing stories that are essentially like the reboots in Hollywood. They're just copying and pasting and putting a little twist on it. We're getting tired of that. The audience is getting tired of it. I'm getting tired of it myself. And we want to see new stories be brought to life. And I know there's a lot of people out there that get caught in that trap. I get it. We all got to make money. But again, think about why you write. Think about what it means to you. I'm sure the writing came before your fans. So it's good to treat your writing delicately. Treat it with love and respect, and cherish it, because that was there before the fans. The writing has been with you this whole time. I'm not saying not love your fans, but what I'm saying is, nothing is promised tomorrow. And we all know, like even in sports, how fans can be up and down. One minute they can love you, one minute they don't love you. But the one thing that will still love you and still be with you is your writing, as long as you love it. And by doing so, your authenticity will always show through your stories. Your own genre, therefore, will be created in some form or fashion over time. But just going back to the creations of genres, I'm sure a lot of you guys are a little fearful of doing this because you feel like your books won't sell, or you won't be able to get any books out there, or no one is going to want to work with you. Here's the deal. I'm not saying that you need to plasterize it all around social media and be like, this is a new genre, this is this. Well, the new genre is for you. That's like your own like personal diary. No one knows that this is a new genre. This is just for you to keep your mindset to think outside the box. However, as I always said, never say never. I mean, if you really do feel confident about it and you really want to just put it out there and say, I'm creating a new genre, I say, why not? Go for it. Who's stopping you? I would actually find that pretty honorable and courageous of any of you to do that. Again, I don't know off the top of my head who's the first person to start science fiction, but I'm sure they were thinking the same. They were a little nervous about it, but they just put it out there and it hit with everyone. So I would encourage you, if that's something you really want to do it. Again, it's about really doing something that you love and sharing it with the world. But you guys know it. As always, keep writing, keep loving it. I love you guys. I'm enjoying being a part of this writing journey with you guys. I'm still learning so much more about writing. I feel like no matter how many years go by, you still learn new things. You still learn some things that you're like, oh God, I shouldn't have been doing this the whole time. I should have been doing it this way. So yeah, so it's a never-ending learning process, but it's fun and it's rewarding, to learn the art of writing. It has a lot of benefits to everyday life, how you communicate with people, how you have discussions, how you react to certain situations that might be conflicting to your views of life, So I encourage you, keep writing. If you got kids, encourage your kids to write. I think it's good for kids too. I think it's very beneficial, and it'll help them throughout their life as they get older. It sure as hell has helped me. So yeah, you guys know it. Keep writing. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed having this discussion with you guys because, again, I think this is something that's overlooked as writers. I think we are locked in. We're being forced to lock in on certain genres. We're being forced to lock in on certain stories and do reboots, and enough's enough. That's not being a creative writer. That's just called copying what somebody else did. It's plagiarism. It's some form of fashion. But let me get off the ranting. You guys know it. Become a child again. Imagine, my friends. And I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.